Powered by Riverside.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. I am half of your host, Hagen. Sitting beside me is our other host, Emilio, and we are excited to be back. What a weekend of football. Not so much in college, but in the NFL. We had our Cupcake Saturday that has come and gone. Get into rivalry weekend. Not much that happened there. We've got a new AP Top 25 poll that is out. Our top 12 for the college football playoff rankings is going to stay the same. We'll get into USC and Oregon, Oklahoma and Missouri, and then really everything else was cupcake for that part, other than Georgia Tech losing. Texas was able to hold off Arkansas. Arch is able to become the first quarterback in SEC play to get a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown since Prescott did it in 2014. We'll touch on that and potentially what that Texas offense has looking into the A&M game. And then we'll get over into the NFL. We had a lot of close games this weekend there. A couple overtime games. The biggest game, them Cowboys making the biggest comeback in franchise history, or tying it, and keeping those playoff hopes alive. So we've got a little bit to dig into here. We'll see how it goes on everything. But Emilio, you got anything to say before we get started?
Nope, I'm excited. Saturday was all right. Sunday was all right. I got some things to say about that USC and Oregon game for the haters out there. I got a little trivia for you today. I'm excited.
Let's do it. Hey guys, before we get started, don't forget to follow us on. We've got Facebook, Instagram, we even got TikTok, YouTube. Go check out those channels. Support us. Give us a follow and a like whenever you can. We greatly appreciate it. It really helps us in our outreach. Just growing this channel and getting to more people. And we also want to thank our sponsor, Brewster Bird Hunts. Anybody that wants to come down to South Texas, do some dove hunting, upland bird hunting, anything that you need. Those guys over there, they are top notch. They've got the best bird dogs around, best guides around. If you want to limit out every time you come down to hunt, they're your go-to for dove hunts, upland bird hunts, anything like that. So make sure that you check them out. Any social media, Facebook, Instagram, go to the website, brewsterbirdhunts.com, And yeah, we really appreciate those guys over there. So let's get right into it. What do you say? Saturday. What a lackluster Saturday, as most around the country are calling it Cupcake Saturday. We really need to reevaluate how they schedule this out, because the SEC did not play really anybody. And if the SEC is not there to carry the rest of these conferences, there's no good real football being played. So it was not good. We'll start off some quick hitters. The Ohio State University, number one in the nation. They started a little slow with Rutgers. It was kind of concerning there. You look at that through the first quarter, there was no real score, and then at halftime I think it was 14-7 or something. But then they came and blew the doors off of Rutgers. That score was 42-9. Ohio State, and they're going to be looking to go into rivalry week against Michigan there. That's going to be a big matchup. We'll see how that one goes. Number 3, Texas A&M beats the brakes off Samford 48-0. If I'm a Samford team, why don't you want to play an A&M team every year, right? You are going to get they probably got paid $500,000 to $1 million to come over there and get the brakes beaten off of them, right? Why not? It just helps your football program every year. You're not going to compete, but get your kids a little bit of spotlight, get your program a lot of dough. So good there. And then another one was Georgia, number 4 Georgia beat Charlotte 35-3. Another one of those games. It was just, why play it? It's just a bye week. So, anyways, but let's get into a big game, the college football game of the week. This was a big game. A lot of folks had this one circled on their schedule, like myself. Didn't quite turn out the way that I thought it would. It looked like there was a lot of opportunity for it to happen. But number 7 Oregon takes down number 15 USC 42-27. This was a tough one. USC had some opportunities at some point. You're giving me that funny face, but they did. They just weren't able to keep up with that Duck offense there. It was tough. I know Lincoln Riley that's not what he wanted to put out there in that football field, but I know you've got a lot to say about this. So go ahead there.
No, I mean, there was a lot of people after that episode when I said that Oregon would win and that it was going to be a little bit too much for USC to handle. I got a whole lot of chatter from a whole bunch of dweebs online talking about I needed to eat a piece of humble pie and, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think it's because I was wearing a green hat. That was a Jets hat. But I'm going to address all that right now. You can't spell suck without USC. And, I know that you were high on Lincoln Riley, but it would have been more appropriate if his name was Stinkin' Riley because those guys are garbage. I called it. They're pretenders. They never were. It's the same old Lincoln Riley. We can score points. We can't stop anybody from scoring points. We saw this at Oklahoma, Texas Tech, wherever he's been. Lincoln Riley can't stop anybody. USC is about as fake as they come. They should be the USC Trojan horses because that's all they are is a gimmick. There's nothing real about them.
They're a year away, Emilio. They're a year away.
They always are. They always are. They've been a year away since 2005. So, last time I checked, Reggie Bush is already retired from the NFL and in the Hall of Fame and got his Heisman back. That's how long it's been since USC's been relevant. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Oregon took care of business like I thought they would. It was a close game for a half. But too much Oregon. USC's still a year away for another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll just get some stats here. Dante Moore, he was 22 of 30, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Noah Whittington ran the ball 19 times for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. So they were pretty effective. They had 179 yards on the ground as a team. Really carved up that USC defense. On the other side of the ball, Jaden Pavia was 25 of 43, 306, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They really wrapped up that USC rushing attack. King Miller, he was able to make his way back to the field, but he was only 15 carries for 30 yards. Not effective whatsoever. They were playing from behind. They were able to match touchdowns there at first, and then they just fell behind, and they had to throw the ball more than they wanted to. So Tanook Hines had 6 catches for 141 for the Trojans. Pretty good stat line there. But yeah, this was watching this game, at first I was like, oh man, USC's keeping up here, right? It was a decent game, and then they got behind 28-14, and you could just see that that just shifted back straight to Oregon, and USC was never able to get any momentum back to keep in this game, and there was just a difference on the field. I bowed out early, and I told myself, man, you gave this USC team way too much credit. I'm big enough to admit that. I really thought Lincoln Riley would come out and have a little bit of a better game plan to attack this Ducks team. But USC is what most folks in California are, and soft. At least in that part of California. I'm sorry, not everybody in California is soft. There's a lot of tough people out there. I'll take it back.
Did you hear that, Ben? He said you're soft.
No. As soon as I said that, I went, shit, Ben may kick my ass. So I take it back, Ben. You're not soft, bud. I'm not saying you. But I don't need that kind of I don't need that coming after me. But yeah, their defense was just non-existent there, and the Ducks were able to do whatever they wanted. So it's an impressive ranked win for the Ducks, and this is going to help propel them into that college football playoff spot and keep them in there. And as long as they don't have any miscues against Washington next week, yeah, the Ducks are going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to get.
Now,
Go ahead.
hear me out. I would not be surprised if Oregon goes and loses to Washington next week. That would be right on schedule.
I just don't. I mean, that game is in Seattle. Washington is what 8-3, so they're not. They're not a bad team by any stretch of the means. They handled UCLA this weekend 48-14. They handled Purdue the week before that 49-13. They did lose to Wisconsin, that's a tough one to swallow. They haven't really had a big win. They played Ohio State earlier in the year, somewhat tough. That's 24-6. So I don't know. This Washington team's been up and down. I guess we'll see. I mean, you can't. They've already got that line at 6.5 in Oregon's favor there. So we'll see. Never say never, especially in college football, right? But yeah, we'll see. So those Ducks are going to stay in that college football playoff spot right there. There was nothing that really changed for the top 12 to begin with. So yeah, we'll see. Moving on to the next game. We had number 22 Missouri that traveled over to number 8 Oklahoma. Man, Oklahoma, we talk about moving closer to a college football playoff spot. They're doing it here. They're going to play a down LSU team this next week that barely beat Western Kentucky 13-10 in Baton Rouge at night. I mean, that's
Western Kentucky is a very good football team.
Okay, whatever, dude. And LSU has to travel to Norman too, so that's going to be even tougher for them. But that Oklahoma defense, man, they were on Missouri all night. Even Bo Perbula came back and played this week, so you didn't have the freshman quarterback out there. He was 20 of 36 for 231, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. As a team, they ran the ball 35 times for 70 yards. That's not a recipe for success. We say that all the time here on the program. And they just didn't have, you lose that turnover battle, especially against an Oklahoma defense that is very aggressive in finding opportunities to get their offense the ball back. That's what's going to happen. But offensively, this is going to be the thing, and the theme that we talk about going into the playoffs is how is Oklahoma going to continue to win when they cannot put points on the board? Because at some point, they're going to get into a game where that defense, the bend don't break mentality, there's going to be a few cracks in that break or bend, right? I should say, and they're going to have to score some points. John Mateer, he was 14-30 for 173, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball 32 times for 103 yards as a team. That's only averaging 3.2 yards a carry. That's not that well. They did have a big 80-yard touchdown play. Oklahoma is really known for their big plays. They typically have at least 1 or 2 a game, whether it's a rushing, 60-yard touchdown or in this case it was an 80-yard touchdown throw. So they have those capabilities. It doesn't seem like they're always doing the right things to get their playmakers the ball, whether it's just easy, shallow crosses or screens, whatever it is, just to get their better athletes one-on-one with the defense. So it's interesting to see what Oklahoma's going to do. Missouri, they have a pretty good defense, and they were able to contain that Oklahoma offense again, but Oklahoma just looks like they're pretenders. They're going to get a college football playoff spot, but I don't see them getting out. I mean, depending on who they get in that first round, there's a good opportunity that they're one and done in this as this goes. You were big on Missouri. What are your thoughts?
I said if Bo played that Missouri would have a good chance of winning. I picked Missouri to win because of him playing. Man, it's just Missouri is one of those teams that, in order for them to win this game, Bo had to play perfect, and he didn't do that.
Yep.
But also, along with that, they had opportunities early to really take momentum and not let it up because their defense was playing good enough. But offensively, they're one of those teams that they cannot get into third and longs because the moment they're in third and long, they're not equipped on the offensive line to protect their quarterback long enough or well enough to make anything happen. And you can't settle for field goals when you're trying to pull out an upset also. Like
Yep.
if you get all the way down to the red zone and you got all that momentum, you've chewed up all that clock to get down there. Getting 3 points is not a great feeling for your defense. So, Missouri had their opportunities. Credit to Oklahoma. They, defensively stood up when they needed to stand up. Holding them to 3 points. Those couple of field goals. I mean, really though, Missouri had chances, and then as soon as you don't get a touchdown, I think on one of those it was a fourth down attempt that didn't go Missouri's way, gave Oklahoma the ball, and then that's when they threw that long 76-yard touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
But this one probably should have been a further gap. John Mateers, he's missing. Just you were talking about getting his playmakers the ball. There are multiple opportunities on RPOs where if he just throws the slant route on time and somewhat accurate, his was far and away and behind the receiver 2 or 3 times, and they looked just like that 70-yard touchdown pass. As far as what the defense was showing him, the amount of space that his receiver had to run after he would have catched it. So I don't know what it is about Mateer that's off. Maybe it's I don't know. Ever since he left with that injury and came back, he has not quite looked the same. Maybe this is actually who he was in those first few games or just a fluke. I don't know. But I'm with you. I don't see Oklahoma being a real contender. But depending on the matchup, they might win a first-round game.
Yeah.
That defense is good enough to win them a first-round game. But their offense is bad enough to lose them one. So
yeah, for sure. And you're correct. Mateer's definitely part of the problem. It's not just coaches not calling the plays to get them in. It's the quarterback, and that's who's going to get blamed most of the time. But if you look at last week when they projected the bracket, it had them playing Notre Dame in the first round. So how are you gonna contend with a team like that who dropped 70 this weekend on a Syracuse team? Now Oklahoma and Syracuse are two completely different teams, but Notre Dame has shown that they can score against multiple different teams. So that's not to say that they're for sure going to play, but they're going to get matched up if they're going to be in that spot. You look at last week, Oregon was 7, Alabama was 10, Ole Miss is 6, right? If you get, say 1, 2 through 4 gets that, you play Texas Tech, right? I mean, there's a lot of teams on here that can score and move the ball. Unless you get to that 5 seed and you get to play James Madison or whoever that group of 5 team is that shouldn't be in the playoff to begin with, it's going to be really tough. So, I said it. I'm going to get into my little rant a little later on this group of 5 stuff. But
hey, the Dukes can score the football.
Whatever. Talk to Washington State about that. So, Oklahoma definitely secured their spot there. A couple more breakdowns. We just talked about it. Notre Dame, number 9, Notre Dame takes care of business with Syracuse. It was 49-0 at halftime of this game. That was, man, tough.
That's ugly.
So they really strengthened their playoff resume there for the committee. The committee's going to love that. That final score of that game was 70-7. Number 10, Alabama beat Eastern Illinois 56-0. I bet old Tony Romo didn't like to see that, right? Eastern Illinois legend out there. Interesting one was number 11, BYU took down Cincinnati 26-14. That one was a little closer than I thought it was going to be honest with you. Bear Bachmeier was 15-25 for only 127, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Their rushing attack was there all day, 49 carries, 265 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's something that BYU wants to do. They want to run the ball. They want to get it down your throat. But LJ Martin, man, 32 carries for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns by himself. That's a whole boy and then some, right? Brendan Sorsby was 25 of 38, 300 yards even, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. They ran the ball 87 yards on 23 carries as a team. So just weren't able to do it. We're playing catch up most of the game. I didn't really watch that game at all. Do you have anything outstanding that you saw there?
No, I mean BYU kind of played with their food for a little bit and then finally decided to start pulling away. But you mentioned it. LJ Martin, when he's able to get that many yards on the ground, and then you have Bear Bachmeyer that can also follow up on the ground, they're just, they're tough to stop for 4 quarters. So containing them on the run game is very, very important. Cincinnati just doesn't have enough. The wheels have fallen off that wagon. I think that was the final knockout blow for them.
Yep. Yep, that was tough. Devin Dampner threw for 2 touchdowns and ran 2 more, including a go-ahead 1-yard score with 56 seconds left. And number 13, Utah rallied from a 12-point deficit midway through the fourth quarter for a wild 51-47 victory over Kansas State on Saturday. Man, I was watching kind of just, as this game was going on. I wasn't necessarily watching this game, but I believe at one point it was like 47-35 or somewhere in there. And it was like, man, K-State's going to pull this one off.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, I said if it was in Lawrence, I would have picked this K-State team to win. But the fact that it wasn't, and I'm sitting here going, man, what do I know? K-State's fixing to whip them in their own home. And, man, they had them on the ropes, but Dampner was able to keep it there and keep them in it. I'll tell you what, for K-State, Avery Johnson, he was 12 of 23 for 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not typically the Avery Johnson that you see in these high-scoring games. He usually can sling the ball pretty well. But Joe Jackson for him, he had 24 carries, 293 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. That's a big day there for him. So as a team total, they ran the ball 42 times for 472 yards and 5 touchdowns. How do you run the ball for nearly 500 yards and still lose the game? What a sad day to be a Wildcat.
That's crazy.
What a sad day to be a Wildcat. On the other side, like I talked about, Devin Dampner, 18 of 33, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. As a football team, they carried the ball 50 times for 292 yards and 5 touchdowns themselves. So both teams were able to have successful nights on the ground. Man, I just can't get over almost 500 yards on the ground, and you can't win the dang football game. So
that's crazy.
That's really hard. I guess that suggests why Kansas State is 5-6.
Yep.
And they just can't get it done. But Utah is able to keep their playoff hopes alive there. I think they won. That's great, but it probably hurts their chances more now just because it's a K-State team that came in 5-5, right? They haven't been super competitive in all their games. If you look at a lot of their Big 12 matchups, they're ups and downs, different things. So I think that hurts Utah really more than anything, just because of who it is. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see going there, but good for Utah on that. Number 13, Miami took down Virginia Tech, 34-17. Miami keeps their hopes alive. They're still mathematically in this ACC championship game. For them to get in it, they need a couple people to lose for them to get that spot, but they're still mathematically in it. If they don't get to that game, they probably aren't going to get into the playoffs. It's just there's just not a chance for them. So we'll see what happens there. Kentucky gets downed by number 14 Vanderbilt in Nashville, 45-17. Man, Theo Vaughn's having the time of his life out there, isn't he? In that,
Theo Vaughn's always having the time of his life.
Man, poor Diego Pavia. Yeah, out there. Theo Vaughn's out there, parading his mom around and stuff like that. I can't believe it. Man, making an embarrassment.
Hey, this Vandy team did exactly what we said they needed to do, though.
Yeah, no, they did. Diego Pavia is 33 of 39, 84 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 pick. They only ran the ball for 65 yards as a team. They held Kentucky pretty good. Their Cutter Boyle, is that how you say it? 26 of 44, 280, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They only ran the ball for 31 yards on the ground. They just completely bottled up Kentucky and were able to score on that team. Yeah, so you got to, for Vanderbilt, you have to get impressive wins. The next step here is, okay, you're going into rivalry weekend. You got Tennessee. That one's on the road, I think. I think they have to go to Knoxville for that. So you need to go into Tennessee. Their best bet is to go into Tennessee and get another big statement win like this.
Mhm.
They can't have a close game.
No.
Winning is step one, but they have to have a big game to get into that conversation. I mean, they need another 45-17, really. I don't think just a win, getting it out by field goal is going to be enough.
If it's not at least 2 scores, I don't think it means anything.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens to Vanderbilt there. Pitt, they've actually jumped back into that top 25 this weekend. This was one that neither of us saw coming, but they played the way that we thought they were going to play, or at least I thought they were going to play against Notre Dame the week before. They're able to take down Georgia Tech 42-28. This keeps Pitt alive here now in the ACC as well. When you look at it, they've pushed in front of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech ruined their playoff spots.
Yeah.
Playoff hope here. Now Georgia Tech has I don't even know if they're mathematically still alive in this ACC. They have a lot that they have to jump through here. Pitt can still get in if they win against Miami, and then either Virginia or SMU loses this next weekend. So, man, Pitt is alive and well in this ACC. Now, Virginia and SMU, they control their destinies. All they have to do is win out, and they're going to be playing each other in the ACC. Gosh, man, both of those teams in the playoffs, I don't think there's an ACC team really that deserves to be there, but whatever.
Not really, but
yeah,
that's what it is at this point.
If any of them got to get there, I'd like Pitt to get there. So I don't know why. I don't know why this Pitt team's growing on me. You've seen what's going to happen. They're going to get their brakes beaten off of them, but
they went from looking like Schittsburg to Pittsburgh real quick.
Yeah, they were playing. They had defense all over them. Offense was clicking. So whatever happened between the Notre Dame weekend and this weekend was completely different. So
if I'm a better, I'm not happy about Pitt and what they did. I think they gave Notre Dame that win last week.
Yeah, I think so too. That was interesting. Getting into the next game, you had number 17 Texas, who hosted the 2-8 at the time Arkansas Razorbacks. Arch Manning has 4 touchdown passes, 1 rushing and 1 receiving to beat Arkansas 52-37. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, Arch Manning is the first quarterback to have a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in the SEC since 2014. Do you know who that was that did it last, Emilio?
Johnny Manziel? I don't know.
No, sir. I'll give you one more guess.
Tim Tebow.
He had a big game today.
famous Jameis.
No, sir. Dakota Prescott.
Oh, God.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prescott. He's the first one to do it since Mr. Prescott did it back in 2014.
Oh, that was that magical year they had, huh?
Yes, I think they got to number 1 at one point there. Yeah.
Them and Ole Miss were 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but Arch Manning, he's 18 of 30 for 389, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. As a team, the Texas rushed the ball 28 times for 97 yards. That's Texas, man. They just don't have that great of a rushing attack. On the other side of the ball, you had Taylon Green got injured at some point. He was only 10 of 20, 118. He was able to move the ball up and down. They had a really big back and forth there at the beginning where it was, offense was really controlling the pace. And then about halfway through the second quarter, they started having a punt fest and everybody was punting back and forth to each other. It went into the locker room only a 4-point game. So it was really close there for a second you thought Arkansas was going to be able to come out and give them a little bit. But KJ Jackson had to come in for Arkansas. He went 16 to 29, 206, and 1 touchdown. As a team, Arkansas ran the ball 31 times for 188 yards there, 3 touchdowns. So Texas wasn't necessarily able to stop Arkansas as they put up 37 points, but their offense is ticking. Arch Manning, I guess he's got whatever swagger he lost back. We'll see. Big matchup looming there coming Friday when the number 3 Texas A&M Aggies travel to Austin to take on the Longhorns. But you think that Texas is going to make something magical happen with this newfound offense, putting some points on the board?
I definitely think it makes the matchup more exciting there for a little bit. I was thinking that, and I don't like thinking it. I don't like thinking that A&M is just going to go in and rout them, because the moment I start thinking that is when I get proven wrong. But I don't know. I mean, you mentioned it. It was a pretty close game for, I don't know, 2.5 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Kalen Green getting injured, I think, kind of swings the rest of this outcome. But I just don't know about this Texas team. I'm not going to say that they're going to give A&M fits, because it doesn't seem like they will. But, you know, rivalry week, at home game for them, anything can happen. But I'm not going to
It's going to
make a bold prediction right now.
Yeah, DKR is going to be rocking at that time, and, you know, they're going to be hyped. One, if they can't get into the playoffs, they know that their chances are real slim as it is. But to knock A&M's chances down, they're going to do it. A&M is almost guaranteed to get in at this point, as long as barring something crazy doesn't happen, like really them losing to 100-0, I guess is about one of the only things that could keep them out at this point. It'd be really hard to argue to knock out a number 1 or a 1-loss SEC team when you've got all these 2-loss teams in, right? So A&M still has a ton to play for here. I think Elko's going to have those guys juiced up. But we'll talk about that matchup in way greater detail here in our next episode, I guess. So anyways.
Yeah.
Number 18, Michigan travels to Maryland, and they take down the Terps 45-20. Wasn't really a game whatsoever. Michigan, they did not look ahead, and they took care of business. And now Michigan's got a chance here to get into that Big Ten championship if they're able to actually compete toe-to-toe with Ohio State and take that down. Where's that one at? Is it in Ann Arbor or in...
This one this year is... Hold on. It's in Ann Arbor.
Okay. So
it's in the big house.
Okay. Yep, in the big house. I mean, that one's going to be lit up. It's going to be fired up. It's probably going to be a big noon game, right? Big kickoff, noon kickoff for Fox. So it'll be 11 o'clock game. But
maybe some snow. Whew.
We'll see.
Hagen, I got a trivia question for you.
Go for it.
Ohio State's won 15 games in a row. Who was the last team to beat Ohio State?
Michigan.
Hell yeah, brother. I just like hearing you say
it. Yeah, man. They've won 4 years in a row, right? And really tough to win 5 in a row. All streaks got to come to an end, Emilio, so I'd be careful there. Getting too hyped. We'll see. Oh, number 20 Tennessee goes down to the Swamp, takes care of business 31-11. Florida is doing some soul searching there. Number 21 Illinois loses to Wisconsin 27-10. TCU is able to get the upset over number 23 Houston 17-14. Tulane takes care of business against Temple 37-13. And then number 25, Arizona State, goes into Boulder and crushes the Buffaloes 42-17. So that's really the recap there for Saturday. Lackluster games. There wasn't a lot that was going on there, and it's tough. The one thing that I think I do want to talk about in total is, and I've been thinking about this. This one wasn't on the schedule there, but James Madison played Washington State this week, right? And they won on a last drive there. I'm trying to remember the score of that game. Trying to look at it right now, real quick.
Let's see.
But I guess the biggest thing that I want to get to here is this: we, as football fans, as college football fans, when they made this 12-team playoff, we wanted the best 12 teams to get in and compete for a national championship, correct?
Right.
Why are we allowing a group of 5 team to come in here and get a spot that you could give to an actual competitive team? Truly, who wants to see James Madison potentially go to Georgia or Alabama or any of those teams just to get the brakes beat off of them? Really? This isn't basketball. This is not basketball where anything can happen. Sometimes you just get bigger, stronger, faster athletes in a physical sport, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it is a little strange to me. I've changed my tone on this back and forth a little bit, but just watching that James Madison team yesterday, just the highlights, I didn't watch the actual game, but seeing how closely they had to compete with Washington State, I'm like, man, nobody's going to want to sit through a full 60 minutes of them playing Georgia or somebody else. I mean, you pick it, Oregon, any of those teams. Nobody's going to want to watch that.
Hear me out. Washington State versus Ole Miss. Final score 24-21. Ole Miss is number 4 team in the country at that time. Washington State versus Virginia. Final score 22-20. Virginia was number 18 at the time. I mean, maybe this is a really good Washington State team that we just don't know it.
Is James Madison undefeated?
They're 10-1.
Who'd they lose to?
Louisville. Who beat the number 13 team in the country.
Prove my point. Prove my point. Prove my point. Nope.
This, no, I mean, obviously this is not a case where the 12 best teams are going to get in. If that was the case, none of these ACC teams would get a spot either.
Yep.
And it is I don't know, it's a shame, but I guess for money and for TV ratings, you got to give these teams an opportunity because there's already people that moan and groan about the SEC bias. And really, if we're going to take those 2 spots away and put the 12 best teams in, it's going to be 2 more SEC teams.
What money does James Madison bring in?
Madison brings in quite a bit.
What TV ratings does James Madison bring in? I mean, really.
No. But really, though, more like the ACC teams that you let in. And you get the occasional people that think that, something crazy could happen if you're not an avid football fan and you just see playoff bracket and about March Madness and you see, you get used to seeing Lehigh beating Duke in the first round. And you start thinking maybe this is it. Maybe this is the Lehigh of college football. And then you find out it's not. But, I mean, no, it's not going to be the 12 best teams. And that is a shame because it's a waste of a spot, really, is what it is. But
I truly believe that these TV executives have a big say in some of these bubble teams, let's say, and spots, I guess you should say. Not bubble teams, but bubble spots of who gets in and what the best matchup's going to be and what the potential best matchup's going to be down the stretch. Now, they're not going to be able to say anything about the group of 5 because it's already done. They've already given the final position there. But if you're looking at it at the end and say you get right down there, look at the AP top 25. It kind of similar. It mirrors the playoff rankings somewhat, right? So say 12, 11, 13, 14. You've got and 15. You've got BYU, Vandy, Miami, Utah, and Michigan. Would you pick James Madison if you were a TV executive? Would you pick James Madison over any of those teams to go into a playoff if you're thinking about TV rankings? Maybe one of them, in my opinion. Maybe one.
Who, Oregon?
No, BYU.
BYU would beat the brakes off of the Dukes. Okay, have some respect for BYU.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you were looking at it TV ranking, like just TV viewership wise, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Is what I'm saying, TV viewership wise. You're not going to put them in over Vandy because of Diego Pavia. University of Miami, that's just a household name. Utah, they'll bring people in on the West Coast, and then Michigan's a household name. Why are you? I mean, it's just one of those things. I think that the TV execs have a big say in some of this stuff, but they're going to get in. Either they get in, which I think they have a really high chance of getting in right now from the percentages that I saw. But I mean, you've really got James Madison, North Texas, Tulane are really that group of five. But who wants to see any of those teams travel to Athens and face Georgia? Or
I don't think it's Georgia they'd play.
It'd be the 12 seed's going to play the 5 seed. So you're looking at really in that aspect, if Georgia doesn't go to the SEC championship, Georgia has ample opportunity to be the 5 seed. Oregon has the opportunity to be the 5 seed. Ole Miss has the opportunity there. Tech, I mean, there's a couple of those teams that you're like, man, why do you want any of these teams to travel to any of these places? Because they're all hostile environments, and more than likely, it's just going to be a blowout game. So we need to put the 12 best teams in here. That's what we need to do. And it's still a lot of times when you get to that 12 spot, it gets really hard and you are, thumbing through it. And I don't know the phrase that I'm looking for right now. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. But you're just, it's so subjective, right? So maybe this is the best way, just to say, hey, top 5 conferences you get in, and then it just cuts a lot of the BS out. But just don't think it's what's really best for the game. We're giving participation trophies out, essentially, is what I think. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got. College football was not very, very exciting this weekend. Now, going into rivalry weekend, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We may have to do just one episode on college football alone because there's a lot going on. Ohio State and Michigan, Texas and Texas A&M. You've got Tennessee Vanderbilt. You've got Miami and Pitt. There's a lot that's going to be happening there. Oregon, Washington,
Georgia Tech,
right? There's a ton that's happening there. So there's a lot of good games that are going to be going on, and we'll break them down on the next episode. But I'm glad to be past Cupcake Saturday because that was a tough one to go through. I didn't do a whole lot of watching. Definitely one of the least that we do. So we need to look at that rankings. You can't have the second to last Saturday. Truly, your last full Saturday of college football was wasted because teams scheduled was terrible scheduling all the way around. I don't think that's really what college football wants in general. At least it shouldn't be what it wants. So, anyways, you good there Saturday?
I'm good.
Great. Let's get into Sunday. Sunday. I guess we're going to start. Oh, man, I could spend all day just talking about one game.
Let's start there because
you want to start there?
I would like to get it over with.
Are you sure? I mean, because we could go down the list and just get it all. We can talk about some of these other games and just warm up to it.
Okay, fine.
You want to? Okay.
It's your day. It's your day. We can.
Okay. We'll start Thursday. We'll talk about Thursday. So the Texans are able to take care of the Bills 23-19. the Texans really had the Bills backpedaling all game. 8 sacks. Davis Mills was able to move the ball efficiently enough to keep them ahead, keep them in front. But really, the Texans defense was the talk of the town on Thursday. And man, that Bills team, they're sliding. They're sliding back. They're 7-4 right now. The Texans moved to 6-5, so they're only a game behind them. And they are, I think the Bills are 3 games back now of the Patriots. So
Yep.
they've got some climbing to do there, right? Now they're just really eyeing for that wild card spot at this point. So that was really interesting to see. I was not expecting that to happen. But
This they're up and down. They can't do anything really that consistent, and they ran into a very good Texans defense. That defense they're legit.
yep. This next team better watch out because those Texans, they've won 3 in a row under Davis Mills, and now you're getting C.J. Stroud back. C.J. Stroud hasn't looked that great this season, but if he's able to rekindle some kind of that first year magic and get it going, you got to watch out. The Texans got some low key good weapons on the offensive side. They need to figure out how to run the ball a little better, but that defense is legit. And the Colts dropped today 23-20 to the Chiefs, and they fall back to 8-3, so they're only got a 2-game lead on the Texans in that AFC South. The Colts had this one wrapped up. They really, at one point, they just weren't able to get anything going. It was 20-9 at one point, and they just let them come back. I don't know what to say. Mahomes was 25 of 46, 352, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 different times. As a team, they ran the ball 41 times for 148 yards. Kareem Hunt led the way there with 30 carries for 104 and a touchdown. Rashid Rice had a big game, 8 catches, 141, no touchdowns, but he did have a long catch of 47 yards. On the other end of the ball, Daniel Jones, 19 of 31 for 181, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. They kept Jonathan Taylor bottled up, 16 carries for 58 yards, no touchdowns. And the Colts, they were playing them tough, but the Chiefs just kept chugging along there.
Yeah, the Chiefs made a pretty solid effort to just take Jonathan Taylor out of the game. It seemed like that was their game plan defensively. Let Daniel Jones beat us if he's going to beat us, but we're not going to let JT run wild. And, to your point, it was looking like the Colts just had it wrapped up. And I guess whenever you can't run the ball as efficiently as you'd like to, and you have a game wrapped up, you don't really have it wrapped up anymore. So, the Chiefs just fight and clawed. We called this a must-win game. They did exactly what they needed to do. A very dramatic win. Just a gut-wrenching win. It never looked great throughout the whole thing, but they do enough to get the win. And now they, got another big Thanksgiving matchup. Really, the Chiefs have to play perfect for the remainder of the season at this point. But not surprised by this by any means.
Yeah, the Chiefs really do because they're in a 3-way tie right now. You've got the Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs, excuse me, are all 6-5 right now in that 8, 9, and 10 spot. You have the Chargers, Jaguars, and Bills that are 5, 6, and 7, and they're all 7-4. So there's a lot of opportunity there for a lot of these teams to jostle up and down, but the Chiefs do have a tough schedule at some point coming up because they still have some division games that they have to play and some added division games. But right now, they sit in 3rd place behind the Broncos, who are 9-2, and then the Chargers that are 7-4. So not a lot of room for any slip-ups on this Chiefs team. They know how to win. So that's one thing for the Chiefs that you'll give them. They know how to win. They're never out of it. Don't count the Chiefs out of it because they'll make you pay for it. So the Colts, on the other hand, they had an opportunity to have a true signature win, and they let it slip out of their hands. So they're going to have to figure that one out and keep the Texans at bay here. So Caleb Williams throws for 3 touchdowns as the Bears beat the Steelers 31-28. with Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, he wasn't able to go into Chicago and let him know that he owned him this time. So tough day for Mason Rudolph. 24 of 31, 171, one touchdown, one interception. As a team, they ran the ball 36 times for 186 yards, two touchdowns. You could see all day that Mason Rudolph wasn't really comfortable. He was able to make some throws, but Mason Rudolph is a serviceable backup, but you don't want him playing full games backup. That's tough to say, but he's just never really been able to keep an offense going in a rhythm and score consistently. They had an opportunity at the end to go down and to win the game, or at least tie the game, and he kind of got them going down the field, and then it just came to a halt. He's just never truly been able to make that jump over the hump, right?
Yeah, Mason Rudolph, he's that backup quarterback that you still, whenever he starts for an entire game, you start looking at other backup quarterbacks.
He's great in practice, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure he's a hell of a guy to be around,
Oh, 100%, dude. I mean, he took a helmet off the top of the head from Myles Garrett. He's still playing. I mean, that dude, he's probably great to be around.
Hey, other side of the Bears, though, the Bears are a tear.
They are 8-3 for the Bears. Caleb Williams was 19 of 35, 239, and 3 touchdowns. As a team, they only ran the ball 25 times for 99 yards. But, yeah, the Bears, they were able to do way more than enough today to keep it going. They're number 1 in the NFC North right now, so that's pretty impressive. I didn't see that coming from a Bears team. I thought that they would be able to compete for a playoff spot, but didn't see them, especially this far in the season, leading the division.
Certainly didn't see them playing better than the Lions at this point.
No, 100%. Yeah, that's for sure. So, yeah. The Patriots struggle in Cincinnati. They do get out with a win, though, 26-20. They let the Bengals hang around all day. And really, if it wasn't for a very poor, nonchalant throw by Joe Flacco at one point out to the flat that turned into a pick six for the Patriots, this game could have been very different because Drake May, for some reason, he threw his pick six of his own, and he let that Bengals defense look a little better than they've looked all season this game. So they get out of there with a win. Sometimes you have those down games, so they're able to just escape and get out of there. So
Yep.
The Ravens take down the Jets 23-10. This was a real sloppy game for the Ravens as well. Lamar Jackson just wasn't able to get anything truly going. They had a tough time. I mean, they had a couple big plays. It's the Jets. You're going to do it. But overall, he was 13-23, 153 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry ran the ball 21 times for 64 yards. There wasn't a lot of offense there. And the Jets gave it away because that's what the Jets do. So not much to say there. But the Ravens are back in
all the way back
in the lead of the AFC North at 6-5 right now. So the Steelers dropping that game today was big. And the Ravens and their fans have a lot to celebrate now.
That's crazy to me how the Ravens look dead in the water, and now they're all the way back.
It's just a spark from a quarterback, man. Once you get your quarterback back, and they've had a really lackluster schedule too here recently.
Yeah.
I mean, they got into a really soft spot of their schedule. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can talk, but you look at their last couple games. I mean, they played the Vikings last week, who haven't looked that up to par. Then you had the Dolphins. They were able to beat the Bears, so the Bears are looking pretty good. So we'll give them credit there. But yeah, I mean, you look at some of those games that they had there. They've played some softer teams. So I mean, kudos to them. All you can do is go out there and beat the teams that are in front of you, right?
Yep.
And Lamar Jackson, he had a lackluster game, but he's still an MVP quarterback. And even though your stats don't always show it and you're not lighting up the box score, you can bring a lot to a team by just being out there, right, and being a leader. And that's what he is. So, yep. The Seahawks traveled over to Nashville, and they took down the Titans 30-24. Cam Ward was able to keep the Titans in it for a little while here. The Seahawks were able to run away with it. Man, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, that old boy, he's in 11 games. He's already broken the Seahawks franchise record for most receiving yards in a single season. He's got just over 1,300 yards. The single season receiving yards for the NFL is 1,900 yards. He's like 600 yards away from breaking, and we're 11 games in.
Yeah, there's a lot of football left still.
There's a lot of football left. Today he had 8 catches for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Man, he's just a deep ball threat. And anytime the ball's around him, he has a great opportunity to catch the ball. And he's not a huge guy, so that's not something that you typically see out of that. But he has great ball concentration, hands. He just doesn't drop balls. And I mean, you just throw it his way, and he's more than likely going to come down with it.
Anytime you turn on SportsCenter and you see a highlight of JSN, it's him catching some 80-yard bomb. I don't know if he can just run faster and Sam Darnold can throw further than anybody, but it seems like let's just play back on him.
Yeah. When things are going bad, we just need to put the play it in there and tell Darnold, hey, screw it, JSN's down there somewhere, and just throw it up, man, because just tell him run straight and get after it. So the Titans, they just can't block for Cam Ward, man. Another 4 sacks today. It's tough to see there. He's a young guy, and he's taking a lot of hits. Man, I was thinking about it. They're probably going to get the number 1 overall pick. But really, man, who wants to play in Tennessee, honestly? I mean, it's not a bad place to live or anything like that. But if you just look at them as a franchise, it just doesn't look very attractive at all. I don't know how they're going to attract any free agents or anything like that. They got ugly uniforms. They got a terrible name, in my opinion. I mean, I guess that stadium's nice. It doesn't look that great from the outside. Maybe it's really nice on the inside. I don't know. But I don't know what this Titans franchise does going forward. But it just doesn't look like it's a very attractive place for me.
They got to go.
Offer me a contract? Sure, I'll sign this damn thing because
why not?
Why not? You'd be a millionaire. But anyways, yeah.
They have to go and make a big splash with whatever coach they go get. It's got to be somebody that the team can actually rally around. Whether it's real or fake, it's got to be a big name. It's got to bring excitement. It can't be Brian Callahan or whatever. Let's get John Gruden there. We've seen enough.
Hey, might as well just make a splash, But yeah, we'll see. The Packers are able to take down the Vikings 23-6. The Minnesota offense just could never get anything going. I took a lot of heat on this on social media. I was just talking and I said J.J. McCarthy's been somewhat good here recently. I guess I didn't say somewhat. I said he's been good. And I got called blind and what we were talking about. And you know what, guys? I hear you. I'm sorry. He was 12 of 19 for 87 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They ran the ball for 93 yards total as a team. They just weren't able to get anything going on the ground. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. On the other side, Jordan Love was 14 of 21, 139 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He can't get anything going. What's up with Jordan Love, man? The defense is bailing him out big time, and that's great if you want. The running game wasn't too bad. Emmanuel Wilson stepped in for Josh Jacobs, 28 carries for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they can't do anything throwing the ball right now. I mean, Jordan Love just looks lost.
I think what happened is everybody got real infatuated with, these guys from the Shanahan system, and these guys have the greatest play calls of all time, and everything's so fancy and gimmicky, and it's impossible to stop because you don't know what's coming. There's so many different things. I think they got so distracted about being cute and gimmicky with their play calls that they forgot that sometimes you just got to line up and just run the damn ball.
Yeah.
And it's just this, everything's got to be about the scheme, and that's great. But so maybe let's just make it simple, because when it's not working, you look stupid. And it seems like it's not working. I don't know. They're winning games, so that's great. But at some point, you run into better teams, and you're not going to win with this that they roll out there every week.
Yeah, because I mean, just take it back to when they played the Eagles here recently, right? I mean, what was that score? 10-6 or 7 or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, you got to have some kind of offense again. Yeah, defense wins championships, and there's key times for that to happen and that to come out and them to, step up and make it. But if you're not putting points on the board, defense ain't gonna do anything. Nobody is the 2001 Ravens where they're keeping you to 10 points a game, right? That's just not happening. So they're gonna need to figure it out if they want to be legit contenders, because their defense is winning most of these games for them. But yeah, they got to do it. So.
yep.
Jamar Gibbs rescues the Lions with a long touchdown run in overtime for a 34-27 win over the Giants. Man, this was a fun game to watch. I was watching this one back and forth on Red Zone, really, so I wasn't watching it, just straight. But Jameis Winston balled out today. It was fun to see. I mean, I dislike the Giants. They're not my team whatsoever, right? But watching Jameis go out there and sling the ball, man, he was 18 of 36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He also added a catch for 33 yards and a touchdown. It was a great gimmick play, man. And you thought it was going to get blown up in the backfield, and then he found Jameis. He threw it to him, and Jameis was able to shake off the linebacker and run it into the end zone. And celebration and all, that he was fired up, man. Wan'Dale Robinson had a big game for the Giants, 9 catches, 156 yards, and a touchdown. On the other side of the Lions, they were really shut down for the most part, but Jahmyr Gibbs, he is just a stud, man. He's a stud. 15 carries, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. He added another 11 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. Jared Goff was 28 of 42, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And St. Brown had 9 catches for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. Lions were just able to keep chipping away. Jameis made a few errors like Jameis makes. They had plenty of opportunities to put that game away and just keep increasing it. They just couldn't do it. So there was a point where they went for it at 4th and goal, and they weren't able to convert. You think back, okay, maybe we should have kicked the field goal, but I mean, it's one of those deals that you're a 2-win team, might as well roll the dice. I don't disagree with them going for it there. If it was my decision, I would have gone for it. So, but it was a fun game. It's good to see Jameis getting some opportunity to sling the ball out there, pigskin. So,
I'm not convinced that there is 31 quarterbacks starting right now that are better than Jameis Winston. So next season, he better be one of those starting 32.
where do you think he'd go?
Hell, I don't know. Put him in Tennessee. That's one person that'll be excited to play. He doesn't care where he is.
I think old Mike Tomlinson may look at this and give him a chance with the Steelers next year.
Hey,
I'm just thinking about it right
hey,
now.
Dad.
Like, where else would he go? I mean, the Jets, I guess. You got the Jets and you got the Steelers. And
He's made for the spotlight.
he's great. Oh, yeah, he can handle the media. Fantastic. But, yeah, it's not a big deal. But, yeah, anyway. So the Lions keep pace in the NFC North there, and the Giants continue to go towards the top draft pick in the next NFL draft. Excuse me. Trevor Lawrence throws 3 touchdown passes. Little kicks a 52-yard field goal in overtime as the Jaguars beat the Cardinals 27-24. Trevor Lawrence went 18 for 30 for 256, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's got to get that under control. He's thrown way too many interceptions here. Jacksonville as a team ran the ball 28 times for 134 yards, no touchdowns. Brenton Strange was their leading receiver with 93 yards. Jacoby Brissett, he's going to need a new arm after this year. 33 of 49 for 317 yards, 1 touchdown. So he attempted 49 passes, but he dropped back 55 times because he was sacked 6 times in this game.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. As an offense, they ran the ball 20 times for 55 yards. Michael Wilson had another huge game, 10 catches, 118 yards. Man, I dropped that guy in fantasy because I was like, he's never going to get the ball. Jacoby Brissett gets in, and now he's getting thrown the ball all the time now. You talk about some BS right there, but But the Jaguars get it done. They're able to keep pace with the Colts as well in that AFC South, but I don't know what to think. Jaguars, I think, are just the Jaguars. They're going to be a first round buy or first round exit. They're going to get in there and they're going to poop their pants, and that's all she wrote. So, yep, it's just one of those things. Shador Sanders wins his first NFL start. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks as the Browns beat the Raiders 24-10. Man, Myles Garrett's on a roll this season. I think he already has, oh gosh, I had it right here. Let me see. So he has 18 sacks this season, and the NFL record is 22 and a half.
He's got it.
We're 11 games in.
He's got it.
If he keeps playing some bad teams, he is definitely going to have a really good opportunity here to get this sack record because he is a man possessed. I guess if you're getting paid $40 million, if your team's not winning, you might as well be doing something. Get your name in the record book somehow, right? Shador Sanders was 11 of 20 for 209, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His 1 touchdown came on a long 66 yards pass that was caught by, I think it was Dylan Sampson who caught it. They ran the ball for 64 yards as the team. Wasn't much there on the other side of the ball. Geno Smith was 30 of 44, 285 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, he was sacked 10 times in this game. 10 times. So he threw the ball 44 times, but he dropped back 54 times. They gave Alshon Jenti the ball 17 times this game. He only had 50 yards, but man, Myles Garrett
are so bad.
They're terrible, man.
They're so bad.
I don't know what to say about them, especially if you're losing to the Browns by 14 points.
Hey, is Shador eligible for Rookie of the Year? I think he deserves it.
I'm not talking about that. That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. My goodness.
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys.
Did you see those numbers he put up?
I try not to cuss on here, but here we go. Kirk Cousins, no, I'm going to the next game. We're moving on. Oh my gosh, Shador Sanders. Kirk Cousins' 2 touchdown passes helped the Falcons end a 5-game skid and beat the Saints 24-10. Emilio, you're just working towards that 2029 season still, huh?
We're another game closer.
It's a tough loss. Kirk Cousins, 16 of 23, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bijan Robinson carried the ball 14 times for 70 yards. No touchdowns. Other side of the ball, Tyler Show was 30 of 43, 243 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And Tyler Show also led the rushing attack, 7 carries for 22 yards.
Not good.
And, Alvin Kamara went out of this game with a knee injury. He only carried the ball 3 times. Yep, that was tough, but just an ugly game down in New Orleans. The Falcons are able to get it. I think Darryl Mooney was the big leading receiver here. He caught a long 50-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins to really break that game open and give the Falcons the win. But both those teams are just kind of jostling for what draft pick they're going to get. I'm sure the Falcons at this point would have loved to get that loss, but goes to the Saints, who are going to keep a top 5 pick right now going forward. So, all right, big game of the week. It was our bold Brewster Bird Hunt prediction of the week. It didn't quite come true, but I think we're all
not
satisfied.
Quite. It didn't come true.
I think we're all satisfied with the outcome still. Okay? I think everybody's still okay with what happened here. In case you didn't know what happened, Dak Prescott rallies the Cowboys from 21 down to beat the Eagles 24-21 after breaking Tony Romo's record as the Cowboys franchise passing leader. It was, man, what a game. What can I say? A slew of emotions here. One at the beginning, saying that the Cowboys stink. more importantly, they suck ass is how I felt at first. And then it turned to, wow, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I am extremely surprised with the resiliency of this team. I honestly thought to myself at one point when we were down 21-0, I was like, A&M came back last week from 30 down or 27 down. There's no way I'm going to get lucky enough to have another one of my teams come back in the second half and do it. But Mike Elko must have given Brian Schottenheimer some pointers for some second half adjustments, because boy, did they come out and did they shut down that Eagles team in the second half. Didn't allow a single scoring point in that second half. What's your take on this, Emilio?
Man, so the Eagles still cannot run the football.
Nope.
And I think that's what happened today is you got a big lead early. And any other Philly team in the last 3 to 4 years would have put this one to bed by running the ball well and running it, till the clock hit 0. Jalen Hurts was the leading rusher with 33 yards.
Yep.
You had Saquon averaging 2.2 yards per carry. If they cannot run the ball, I used to be a believer, then not a believer, and I'm back to being a non-believer in Jalen Hurts having the ability to be a pocket passer and win you a football game. He can't do it. Not consistently, at least. And it almost seemed like that's the approach the Cowboys took in the second half was, let's make this guy a pocket passer and see what happens. And, when you do that, when you're going to pass the ball in the second half with a big lead, you extend the game for the opposing team. Because incompletions happen, you stop the clock for them. And all you do is allow more opportunity to sneak in. I'm not going to say that the Cowboys didn't do, that this has more to do with the Eagles than the Cowboys. I actually think it has more to do with the Eagles than the Cowboys, but credit to your team. It takes a lot to stick in for that long and to stay in it. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add. The worst pickup that the Eagles did in probably the last 10 years was picking up Xavier Gibson. He was cut from the Jets for the same shit that he did today. How do you not learn that lesson? I mean, if the Jets cut somebody for dropping a punt and losing them a game, why would you think that's a good idea? I want that guy on my team. That's beside the point. I don't think that defense was super well improved, but they did enough. I mean, that's the end of the day. They won the game. They did enough. But I definitely think that the Eagles should have won this game. The Eagles got problems on offense. That's my biggest takeaway from this one. They have some real problems. When they get one thing going, they can't put it all together for whatever reason.
I'm going to press on you here a little bit. How are the Cowboys? How is their defense not really improved from what we've seen earlier in the year? Just tell me what you saw that says that they are not improved.
I saw A.J. Brown running wide and free. I saw Devontae Smith running wide and free, which is the same thing that we've seen all season long.
Okay.
Their run defense was improved. That secondary is still not very good. And you're lying to yourself if you think they are, because I saw Mr. Revel get his ankle snatched by A.J. Brown a couple times.
It's A.J. Brown.
And
it happens every week to every team. They just don't throw him the ball is the problem.
I threw it today.
They sure did for 21 total points.
Bingo.
Yep, 21 total points. So you're telling me that this defense really isn't improved when they came out and they held Philadelphia to 0 points in the second half. 0 points. Let's break it down here.
Your run defense is improved.
Let's break it down here with these boys that ran wild on us. Okay, 27-39 for 289 yards and 1 touchdown was Jalen Hurts. Decent day. They ran the ball 18 times for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns as a team. A.J. Brown had 8 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Devontae Smith had 6 catches, 89 yards, no touchdowns. Okay, so cool, good stats. I mean, I'm not barking it there. Dak Prescott was 23 of 36, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran the ball 31 times for 125 yards and 1 touchdown as a team. George Pickens had 9 catches for 146 yards, 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 4 catches for 75 yards, no touchdowns. He also had 4 drops that would have changed the game dramatically if he would have caught those balls. So, as a team here, I'm going to say, again, the resiliency that these Cowboys had to come out and continue to battle after being 21 down. And basically, if you looked on Facebook and everywhere else, all their fans were renouncing the team essentially and counting them out and talking a bunch of crap. I'll tell you, at one point, the Cowboys had a 3.3% chance to win the game, according to Next Gen Stats, when the Eagles were up 21-0 at the 5:07 mark in the first half. So the Cowboys, after that, went on to score 24 unanswered points. That's also with a Brandon Aubrey missed field goal. We had the ball down in the red zone that we went for it on a 4th down. We weren't able to convert into points. So there was a lot happening here that we left out there. I don't think that it was necessarily the Eagles. Yeah, sure, the Eagles have some part in it. I think when you lose or you win, you definitely have a part in it one way or the other. The Eagles are not the same Eagles as before. But to sit here and say that the Cowboys defense didn't really improve, you're not looking for the secondary to be the Legion of Boom. You're looking for them to be the middle of the pack. And there were multiple times throughout the game where there were coverage throwaways and coverage sacks at different points for this, that Jalen Hurts was scrambling around trying to find somebody, and there was nobody open down the field. Yeah, sure, we still have a problem with our guys starting 10 yards off the ball, the line of scrimmage, and potentially backpedaling and getting hurt on a lot of those slants. That's really where a lot of those plays came from, were slants across the middle, getting the ball out quick to A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith had 1 big catch over the top, but typically when you get a fast receiver like that, that's what's happening. So a little insulted for you to say that about that defense. Obviously, they have another test to prove themselves, and against a few more speed demons coming up this Thursday on Thanksgiving, and we'll go from there and see what happens. We'll really see what this team can do. But having a line that's out there with Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, Osa Odigizua, and then Jadeveon Clowney of all people, and them being able to push the pocket and push it forward and create that pressure and make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable and get in his face, bat balls down, having Overshown playing the middle, playing side to side, keeping that stuff in there. I think you're crazy to say that that's not an improved defense. So
I think part of your defense is improved. I said that.
No, I think there's a lot there that is improved. And Trayvon Diggs, more than likely, is looking like he's going to come back this week. If he can get in that rotation with those cornerbacks and help where he doesn't have to play the full game, we're just going to get better, in my opinion. And there's still a lot of young guys that are playing out there. Revel, he's a young guy. Carson's still young. He's only a second-year player. You've got Deron Bland's really the leader of that secondary out there with Malik Hooker playing on the back end, and so is Donovan Wilson. But, man, these guys, yeah, it's tough. Hey, Dak is, again, he's 22-2 in NFC East home games. And he's won now 19 in a row, I believe it is. I think it is at home. So, I think Dak runs that conference a little bit. I'm just saying.
God.
when it comes to divisional games. So I
Okay.
just put that out there. I'll calm down a little bit. I mean, I'm really hyped, and there's a lot to say. Puro pinche Cowboys. I don't, you can't take any of it away. They held the defense. They held them down. They came in here and they did what every single person said they weren't going to do. Every person said that the Eagles were going to win.
Yep.
And you know it. I know it. But they came through. They were resilient. That's a different thing than you've seen what the Cowboys have done in the past. That is not something that the Cowboys. Maybe it's the Neyland tragedy that has got them moving. Maybe it is the add-ons. There's 6 different guys since after the bye week that have come on to the defensive side of the ball. So that's a big adjustment. Those guys are still getting to learn each other, different things. Pickens has taken over as wide receiver number 1 on the offense. CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to tell you what. I can't stand, and I texted you this, I cannot stand when these guys, they drop a ball or they false start and they turn around, they start beating their chest saying, "Oh, my bad, my bad." Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Who else's fault is it? Like, yeah, it hits you right in the hands. Catch the ball. You get paid $30 million a year. Yeah, stay still. You know what the snap count is. Why are you jumping? That stuff makes me so irritated. Like,
I like the one whenever they jump and they're like, oh, that's what you meant when you said let's go on 2.
Dude, that stuff irritates me so bad. I don't know. And there's times where I'm like, man, pay me $30 million out there to go drop the ball because I'll do it in a heartbeat. So, anyways, we'll get past that. Big game coming up on Thursday. We'll dive into that on our next episode too. But great win for the Cowboys. Great win for the Cowboys. There is that keeps us in the race. We're at 5-5-1 right there now. We're still on the outside looking in here. We needed a couple different teams to lose, but just wasn't able to happen. I had the playoffs pulled up right here, but I guess it's gone. So we'll move on to the next one, and then we'll go over to the brackets and check that out. But Sunday Night Football, the Rams are able to just take care of the Buccaneers 34-7. This was never really a game. The Rams got up early and never looked back. It's bad for the Bucs right now.
I think Baker got hurt.
Yeah, I think he did too. Stafford and Adams connected for 2 touchdowns. And these Bucs are they're
on a slide.
Slowly going off. The Panthers, they're playing tomorrow against the 49ers, and they have a chance to take hold of that NFC South right there and really take it away from the Buccaneers, who look like, at one point earlier in the season, I talked about it. Baker was right. Actually, he wasn't right in the middle. He was leading that MVP conversation, right? But he was only 9 of 19 for 41 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater did come into the game. He was 8 of 15, 62 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball 29 times for 123 yards, no touchdowns. Sean Tucker was their leading rusher there, 12 carries for 42 yards. Nothing happening on the passing or rushing. On the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford, 25 of 35, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kyron Williams had a terrible game, 12 carries, 46 yards, no touchdowns. I say that because he's on my fantasy, and I had a terrible week in fantasy. None of my guys came out and played. Anyways, Puka Nacua, 7 catches, 97 yards. Devontae Adams, 5 catches, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. These Rams are legit. They really are. They're a scary team, man. And
these guys are running through everybody. It doesn't.
They really
matter
are.
Who it is?
Yeah, and they're a field goal, blocked field goal away from beating Philly in Philly too. So they really are doing it. I think they're a little more improved team than they were when they played in Philly. So they're going to be really hard to stop if they can stay healthy. That's the biggest thing there. You cannot let anything happen to Matthew Stafford, because if so, then you're going to be really tough. So right now, if you look at the standings, you've got in the AFC, you've got the Patriots in the 1 seed, the Broncos in the 2 seed, Colts in the 3 seed, right? Ravens are in the 4th seed. They have taken over that division from the Steelers. Chargers 5, Jaguars 6, and Bills 7 on the bubble. You got the Steelers, Texans, Chiefs all at 6 and 5, 1 game behind that. Really, that 5, 6, and 7 spot. And then in the NFC, barring tomorrow, which you have the 49ers playing the Panthers, right now you have the Rams at the number 1, Eagles are 2, Bears are 3. Those are going to stay the same no matter what. And then you've got the Buccaneers at 4, which if the Panthers win tomorrow, they'll take that 4 spot. If they lose, they'll stay back. And then you have the Seahawks, Packers, and Niners. So really interesting to see there. You could see a juggle in the Panthers getting that 4 seed, and then potentially the Lions jumping the Niners there and getting that 7 seed, because 8, 9, 10 are the Lions, Panthers, and Cowboys, who are technically, or not technically, they are still alive in the playoff hunt. Past that, you've got a bunch of 4 and 7, 3 and 8 teams that aren't really there. So a lot of ground here to make up for some of these teams that haven't been looking so great. That top, even the Eagles, they haven't been looking super fantastic. So there's a lot here. That wild card spot for the NFC is really solid. It's pretty tight in there. So we'll see what comes of that. There's a lot of jostling around that will happen. There's a lot of big games coming up this next weekend. Monday Night Football, who you got?
The Niners. I mean, the Panthers, I thought about it for a little bit because the Panthers have been playing better. But the Niners they just find a way to put it all, the injuries, doesn't matter. Bad things happening, the Niners find a way to win. So,
yeah,
give me the Niners.
It hurts me to say it. My heart wants to say the Panthers, but I don't see how they go to Santa Clara and beat the Niners.
No.
They haven't been able to run the ball super well. Bryce Young hasn't been, super great here recently. I know last week he did have big stats, but it seems like against a little bit better competition, he sometimes regresses, and that's a tough Niner defense to go over there and replace. Now, if they can somehow contain Christian McCaffrey and make it a game, we'll see. I mean, anything can happen. They're all professionals, but they got to get Rico Dowell going a little better on that offensive side for the Panthers. Open up that play action a little more. Don't make Bryce Young just sit back there and throw the ball 50 times. So that's pretty much it for the NFL there. You've got anything else that you want to cover?
Lane Kiffin to LSU. It's happening.
Yeah, they were supposedly going to offer him $98 million.
Yep. Now, that's unofficial. We'll find out after the Egg Bowl, but that's weird timing for an Ole Miss team that looks like they're a playoff contender.
A lot of narrow. Yeah, I know. They were saying the fact that they're saying they're going to make a decision on him after the Egg Bowl makes me think that they've got a big, contract up their sleeve. Or maybe it's like, hey, you win this Egg Bowl, we'll give you $100 million ourselves.
Maybe.
So.
No, other than that, I'm good.
Yeah. So, big games coming up this weekend in the NFL too. Just like in the college, Thanksgiving you got the Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Outside of this, when you go into Friday, Black Friday, you've got the Bears and Eagles, which will be a big one, and then you got a slew of Sunday games out there that'll be pretty good. Texans, Colts, and that's kind of it. You've got the Rams and the Rams, Panthers. That's not too bad. Raiders, Chargers, Bills, Steelers. So, anyways, we'll get into that on our Wednesday episode when it's gonna be a little bit different this next week. We'll probably record Tuesday, put it out Wednesday, so there's some time for folks to listen before Thanksgiving. Because if we drop it Thanksgiving, ain't nobody gonna listen. So,
yep.
Anyways, that was a lot that we covered there. Yeah, I look forward to the next episode. This one was good. It was fun. I like having all my Cowboy stuff. Just so y'all know, my Charles Haley signed jersey right here. Charles Haley signed football. I got my picture of look at that one. Ooh, who likes that one? Look at that. Yeah, that's me and Jerry right there. I told him to sell me the team. It ain't happening, but I told him to. So I'm feeling good, man. You can't take anything from me this week. Puro pinche Cowboys. Just remember that. Just remember it. So
Thanksgiving couldn't get here any quicker.
Oh, man. But super excited about this next episode coming up. This is really what we've been working forward towards, especially in the college football. We'll, as we're doing it Tuesday night, the rankings will be coming out. We'll be able to react to that. We'll be able to give some previews on those games, and then we'll talk about the NFL, and we'll preview those Thursday games really heavily. We'll look at the weekend games ahead and be ready to dive right back in and react to all that stuff. So a lot of big football coming up here soon. Be a lot of fun. So got anything else to say before we sign off here?
I'm all good.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we greatly appreciate it in whatever capacity that you listen to. Like we always say, please make sure to go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're not on LinkedIn yet, but maybe Emilio will start the LinkedIn, so we'll see.
We'll be on LinkedIn soon. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, it's basically social media now. So anyways, check us out. Like, follow, share. We greatly appreciate all the support that y'all give us. And, yeah, it's awesome. So this has been episode 13, Weekend Review. We appreciate it, guys. Until next time, peace.